Welcome to La Fortuna. In this video, we are going to take you on an adventure in La Fortuna, the Arenal Volcano area. We are going to go over a crazy 70-meter high waterfall. We have the Mistico bridges, 16 hanging bridges overlooking the jungle. We have the Arenal Volcano that last erupted in 2010. Did you know La Fortuna is home to one of the most active volcanoes in the world? Between 1968 and 2010, it has erupted 800 times, and we hiked it in 2023. This video is a part 2 to our Costa Rica trip. So our first part of our trip was in Jaco, and then we drove to La Fortuna. So if you're interested in the first part of Jaco, where we did zip lining, we climbed some waterfalls, and we did a chocolate tour and all sorts of fun stuff like that, go check it out. So as we drove from Jaco to La Fortuna, we were driving. It was great. It was going along, nice views, mountains, everything you could imagine, driving through a jungly country. And then Google told us to take a left-hand turn. And we don't know where we're going. We have no clue how to get to La Fortuna. So we said, okay, we'll take the left-hand turn. And I can still picture it in my head is like these concrete woven bricks inside of a road on a gravel road, and it's kind of straight up. And we're like, okay, sure, that's what Google says. Google was set to the shortest route possible, meaning over the mountain instead of around the mountain on the paved road. We ended up in the countryside where there was rocks and boulders, and we thought the bottom of the car was gonna get ripped out. I wish I had videotaped it because it was crazy. It was very nerve-wracking. We didn't know. We had a rental car if we were coming out of this. So my number one tip, watch your Google Maps and make sure you're not taking the shortest route. And if it leads you off a paved road, it might not be the right way, because it did try to do that to us later as we tried to make it back to the Liberia airport. We did make it over the road. We made it out to the other side. And then when we got to the other side, it was foggy. And the beautiful jungle views were all gone. And then it was just like this terrifying drive in windy roads and fog, and then narrow bridges. And the roads there tend to be double, like single lanes going each way, but when you got to a bridge, it went down to one lane, and you would come whipping around a corner and it'd be one lane down to a bridge. So it was really hard to drive with all the fog as you got closer to La Fortuna. However, we made it to La Fortuna safe and sound, and I had a little bit of trouble finding our Airbnb because it was so tucked away, out of the way from everybody, which was super, super nice. It is such a beautiful little location. This person has like a land, like the back alley thing. So it's kind of like down a back alley, and then they're tucked away, and it's like a 2 Airbnb combo on their lot there. Again, I didn't take pictures, and so I borrowed these ones from Airbnb to show you. It was a super cute little place. You drove under, you parked your car, and then there was metal stairs up to a little deck that had a hot tub on it and a little table for 2. And then you walked into a beautiful little room with high ceilings and an air conditioning and a big window that looked at the volcano. There was a bathroom with a shower. I think there were some cubbies and stuff for all your stuff. They had a little kitchenette area. It was perfect. I believe we were here for 2 to 3 nights. We stayed in the Arenal area. After finding our Airbnb in La Fortuna, we took off to the Fortuna Waterfall, which is part of a biological reserve for the Arenal Volcano area. So it is like 210 acres of land that they've protected. So you do have to pay to get in here. We went in, we had lunch. It was super good. I want to say it was like a kind of like a 3-course meal or something. It was, I remember having pasta or something. I don't have any pictures, but I remember having pasta, great atmosphere, people sitting there. And then after we had fueled up, we walked down to the waterfall. So it is a bit of a trek. It is 530 steps down to the waterfall. So it's straight down there. There is some resting spots along the way, which does make life a little bit easier. The waterfall is 70 meters high. It is like walking into an Avatar movie. It is crazy, the atmosphere down there and the calming and the sound of the water. and the way the leaves move, it is so, so beautiful. When you are down there, you are able to swim in the water. We went in it. Derek swam more than I did. And then there's like another spot where it kind of trickles off into a river, and it's like clear water where you can see the fish swimming. You can walk around. There's rocks, so you can sit out there and stuff. It is like an amazing place down there. It is crazy. What you can see when you come from prairie provinces of flatland. There's a little botanical garden at the top of the stairs that we went off onto. I believe it was supposed to be an orchid garden, but it was so beautiful. It's crazy the flowers that you can grow in tropical places. So I highly recommend the Waterfall tour. Like I said, it's part of the Arenal Volcano National Park, so it is reserve land and you do have to pay to get it. So after checking out some wildlife and this crazy turkey-like thing that was in the tree outside our Airbnb, and going downtown La Fortuna, I guess you could say, and having a really good supper and picking up some donuts for breakfast. When we woke up, it was pouring rain, which we expected as we came inland. It's going to be more rainy. It was so beautiful. It sounded so nice. With the way it came down, the way it crashed, and it was just like not a stormy rain, but a beautiful rain. And being tucked away in the jungle there, kind of listening to it on the trees and everything, it was a nice way to start the day. Another way to face my fears was to go over to the hanging bridges at Mistico Park. So there's 16 bridges you cross in this area. It is another protected reserve part, so you do pay a fee. I think it's like $32 US to get in here as well per person. And you can do guided tours, you can do twilight tours, you can do all sorts of tours, but we did a self-guided tour and we just walked around the park. And these bridges are high. They're very high. They got like crazy views of how you can look out across. And when we were there, it was raining and a little bit foggy, so you couldn't see as good, but you could see a lot on a really good day. And each bridge is marked and tells you different information about it, how long it is, how high it is, and everything like that. And they have people out there regulating things and everything like that. So it is also 100% recommended by me, especially if you're afraid of heights. This is a great way to conquer them. We did eat lunch again at the Mistico Park. We sat with a view of the volcano, had a really, really yummy lunch, and then we were off to hike the Arenal Volcano. Again, this is reserve land, so you do have to pay to enter the park. There is guided tours here as well. Again, we decided to just do a self-guided tour. There's a little map and signs along the way to kind of tell you which route you were taking. When we decided to go, we decided we were going to take the route around the swamp and then back to the viewing point of the volcano. It's crazy to think 2010 isn't very long ago for this volcano to have erupted. And as you're walking on all the old molten lava, the big black rocks and stuff, it's hard to comprehend being that close to something that could do something like that. I totally recommend this hike. It was so beautiful, and the vegetation on the hike, like when we started off, there was grass that was like so high to walk through, and then you walked out to places where you got viewpoints of the volcano, but the volcano never came out of the clouds for us. But we did that, and then there was another spot where you kind of went away and you didn't see the volcano as much, and then you went down to the swampy area, and they had like cool steps on things, and then there was like a green swamp down there, and at one point we came across tiny little ants that were carrying things, and I had to take the video so fast because they started like crawling on us and we were afraid I don't know what's going to bite me. So they were super cool to see. Finally, at the end of the walk, they had a resting point with a little restaurant that you could get lunch at. So I think we sat down and had a drink. They had a rooftop too, so you could go up on the rooftop and get a better view of the volcano. But even on the main floor, it was a really great view. They had huge rocks. I'm sitting on the big rocks looking at the volcano. They had like netted nets hanging off of it too, like little bird nets, things to lounge in and stuff. It was really cool. So highly, again, recommend it. After our time in La Fortuna, we drove back over to Liberia to get on the airplane. So we stayed one night over there. We went over and checked out a different beach, hung out at the hotel, and then we flew back to Canada. So to wrap it up, we went on an excursion around a volcano. We went down to a huge, amazing waterfall. We climbed across 16 hanging bridges, and we took in all that the Arenal Volcano area had to offer us within like a 2-day time frame. And if you want to see more, make sure you stay tuned and subscribe, because we will be doing more trips as we keep searching for a place to live on our expat journey.